do you like do you believe AGI is coming and that will be like a significant change to society? And how will Prospera be affected by that?
Yeah, no, I certainly think AGI is coming to some extent, and um, and yeah, I mean, my timelines have shrunk definitely in the last 6 to 12 months. Um, but I think the main way to figure out whether you think about whether you care a lot about safety or not, but especially if you care about safety, it's like how should this work from a legal perspective, and like how to integrate it into society um, in as good a way as possible. And so I think with Prosper we have a unique opportunity to actually figure out what the best way is, because we are more nimble. We can actually experiment and also have more incentive to really figure it out versus these big bureaucracies. And the bureaucracies, they move super slowly. And so I think we have a unique chance of figuring out how should agents and stuff like that be integrated and handled.
Hmm. Are there like AI companies at Prospera? Will you play a role in like the development of AGI or?
Um, well, it depends. I guess there are a few smaller AI startups, yes, like doing smaller agent stuff. I guess on the model layer, um, it might make sense at some point if we have, um, cheaper energy here, or we have less red tape, so you can build bigger clusters here or stuff like that. But it will take some time for that to happen. Um, so I guess currently the comparative advantage is not big. I guess that big for
Hmm.
that.
Okay. And like let's assume that AGI comes. How does that change how you work towards Prospera's mission? Like if you have some, I don't know, like some AGI just like doing everything that humans can do, does that change how important Prospera is to the world?
Um, it's a good question. I guess you can ask that about almost anything, but I
True.
think no. I think reasonably, I think um, yeah, the more impactful AI systems we have, the more important it is to figure out and get quick data points on how they will integrate into society. And I think we will be able to get a lot of useful data points from how that works in Prospera potentially, because it's uh, because we can be more nimble with in terms of how the legal framework should look like.
So Prospera's way of governing is is that more or less optimal in a world where AGI exists?
Um, well, if I the way I look at politics and bureaucracies is that they're just getting worse and worse. And so whether it's an economy with mostly humans or economy with mostly AIs, I think, um, um, yeah, I wouldn't trust the current systems to figure it out in a good way. So I would say it's will be continue to have big importance with like a jurisdiction that is actually that is guaranteed to be free. We have legal stability guarantees, and um, where things don't just change randomly from one administration to the next, but you actually have more stable rights.
Okay. Do you so in if AI companies were to move to Prospera and would you like how would the regulation look for them? Would that be specifically would there be some specific regulations for them like I don't know the what the US is trying to do at the moment or the AI Act in Europe or how would you handle that situation?
Yeah, no, I think I'm not a big fan of how people currently are thinking about regulating AI. They're adding what they're essentially doing is that what they're doing what they did with FDA and other types of bureaucracies, where they basically is trying to add a bunch of red tape and checklists and procedures before you can do anything. Um, and so what that typically does is it just entrenches some big players. It becomes harder for competitors to emerge, and also it creates this adverse selection effect um, where if you check the list, if you check the checkbox list, you don't really care that much after that because you already checked off the boxes and you have your official certification. Um, so the way we think about it, if we would have a regulation, we would probably require agents to maybe be an part of the regulated industries I mentioned before. So maybe crypto, fintech, biotech and also agents would be regulated, right? And they would require to be insured, and the insurance provider would basically try to figure out what are the chances that there's actual damage being done by these systems. Because again, if the damage are being done by the systems, the insurance provider will be on the hook for it. And so we could potentially integrate the agents into our current, I guess, paradigm of regulation.